Engage Our Tribe, and welcome to our behind the scenes series with an Engage Art staff member. I'm really excited because today we have Kate Thomas, and she is our content manager for Engage Art, and she's also our newest team member here at Engage Art. Hello, Kate.
Hi, Ranika. Hi, everyone.
Hey, how's it going today? How are you doing?
I am great today. The leaves are falling. I'm ready for fall.
Nice. And Kate, I really am excited to have you here because, like I mentioned, you're our newest team member, but it's been a pleasure just getting to know you and seeing the work that you're doing. But before we get into that, some people may be wondering, what is a content manager and what do you do? It's such a vital role here at Engage Art and so helpful to our tribe. But I want to ease into it a little bit before we go into there. So tell us just a little bit about who you are and what you like to do when you're not doing engage artwork.
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question. So I live in Southeast Pennsylvania. It's very green here. My neighborhood actually backs up onto a horse farm. I grew up in Maryland and I lived in Massachusetts for a time, so I'm a bit of a Northeasterner, but I'm settled here in Pennsylvania now. I'm a mother of three, so I have two sons and one daughter, and my children are all very young. So we spend a lot of time playing together, coloring pictures, playing outside. They're really into riding their scooters right now. And they actually just went back to school. My youngest just went back to preschool yesterday, and they're very excited about it.
I love it.
As for hobbies, I love to read. I usually go for fiction. I'm a sucker for a good story. So I loved Olive Kittredge. I loved A Man Called Uva. I grew up in a creative house. I like to do creative things, make bread, color with my kids, you
Yeah.
know.
I love that.
Yeah.
So we've talked a little bit and connected a little bit on that in terms of kids and the creativity. And so I've loved like learning that part about you and your family. You've also had well, here at Engage Art, we come in contact with scripture a ton. So it's through writing, it's through reading, it's through creating content. And you've had experience with this type of content with scripture and some of the content that we produce here at Engage Art. So tell us a little bit about what you've done in the past, some of your experiences in the past that may have led you to the type of work you're doing now with Engage Art.
Sure. Yeah. Most of my professional experience is actually in Christian ministry.
Mhm.
So I went to a liberal arts college, Smith College, and after I graduated, I began working in campus ministry. And I served at 5 different colleges in the Northeast as a minister before becoming a director. So in that context, I developed content insofar as like I wrote and led Bible studies, I trained volunteers, I wrote fundraising materials, I delivered talks. I ultimately worked in ministry for 10 years,
Yeah.
planting chapters and developing staff, that kind of thing. And I also was enrolled in seminary. So I was working part time towards my master's in theology while I was working full time in campus work. So I was about 1 year away from finishing my master's when I became pregnant with my first. And I didn't have a
Ah,
very easy pregnancy. So ultimately, I had to make a choice, and seminary had to go on the back burner for a time. Yeah, but I have done graduate level work in Greek, Old and New Testament, world religions, that kind of thing. And I'm a total nerd. I love writing papers. I loved Greek. Yeah.
oh, I love that,
As for the
Kate.
art side, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say that I've always been drawn to the arts. So Engage Art is a total win for me. We did arts-based work on campus. I studied music growing up. I was in the orchestra as a college student. I studied a little bit of art history. As for the content writing side, I was an English major at Smith, and I worked a little bit as an editor and a tutor before I went into the campus work. So, coming out of the pandemic, to be honest, I found myself at a bit of a crossroads professionally. I had stepped back from seminary and then stepped back from campus ministry so that I could be home with my children while they were babies. And as they were getting ready for school, I found myself just trying to discern what was next in my life.
Yeah.
And when I saw this opportunity, it honestly felt like a light switch flicked on. You know, it just brings so many pieces of what I love together into one place.
I love that. I love to hear that. And I feel like I can see that too in the work that you do. That's really neat to hear. So we let's just get right into it. What do you do in your role as a content manager? What does the content manager do here at Engage Art?
Yeah, sure. That's a good question. The content piece means that I get to help out with a lot of what gets written for Engage Art. So that includes the blog, the app, the newsletters, whatever gets written up on the website. Sometimes I pitch ideas, sometimes I find good stories. Some of it I write up, and other times I proofread what others have written. So I get to do a little bit of video editing sometimes. It's all really fun, to be honest, Ranika. I feel very lucky to have such a creative job.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you in that. It
Yeah.
is a lot of fun. And so we know that a lot of our artists, a lot of our tribe, they have their own websites, they're creating their own businesses, they are writing their own blogs, some of what you're talking about. So do you have any tips for our tribe in terms of what is that, what creates great content? How can we create great content?
Yeah, great content always has a story to tell, I think. You
Mhm.
know, don't just write to create space. What is the story? What is the change? Whether it's a new insight, a point of discovery, um, making an outline for what you write is just identifying the clear and compelling story that you want to tell. And then my best advice, to be honest, is to embrace a writing process. So start with an idea, research, freeform around that for a little while. Then comes, to paraphrase one of my favorite writers, Anne Lamott, the
Mhm.
terrible first draft. So the reality is, for everyone, the first pass is always a mess. Don't overthink your writing at this stage. Don't overthink what you're saying. Just get it all out. Then walk away, take some fresh air, come back and do some editing. And editing really means holding your work at arm's length to make sure that every point, every sentence, every word is strong and doing its job the best that it can. A
Mm.
lot of times when we're talking or drafting, we add a lot of details that are kind of nice but not necessary. They kind of wander off track, or we talk a little bit in a circular way to reiterate our point before we move on.
Yeah,
And editing really is just helping to straighten that out so that the story is advancing in a clear and compelling way.
I
My
love
best, yeah, go ahead.
your best. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that my best quick tip is that very often the last thing you write in your first draft is really your strongest intro. Usually, by the time you finish writing the first draft, you've made your point most strongly at the end. And you can just take that up to the top and start from that.
Kate, that's great. Thank you for that. Now, I loved all of that, but especially even just my brain and being an artist, I really appreciate the just do it. That first draft, no matter how it comes out, just get it out and just do it. I really appreciate that. And I think that can be the hardest thing too, in some instances. But thank you for that. That's really, really helpful. Also, as the newest team member here at Engage Art, what are some of the things that maybe you've learned or you're still learning along the way about Engage Art that you think will be beneficial for our tribe to know as well?
You know, I am definitely the rookie on the team. I just joined on this spring in February as we were getting ready to launch the new contest. By the way, the contest is open for new submissions. So I
Yes,
highly encourage you to enter. Everyone should enter.
yes,
I highly encourage it. I love to
yes.
see what everyone is creating. Um, what's really struck me about this team as I've gotten to know everyone is honestly how truly committed everyone is to the members of the
Mm.
community, to the artists. The team is really rooting for everyone. Everyone who reads or engages or applies or submits artwork, there's such a care for everyone to grow and thrive. If prayer requests are sent in, we really pray for them. You know, if a success is shared, a professional success, we celebrate it. We
Yeah.
love to see people grow.
Yeah, that is a high point. It really is, being able to feel the tribe in that way and get those requests and just really be hands on. I think every team member is really hands on with what we're doing. I definitely agree with that. What has been most challenging when it comes to content, you think?
To be honest, for me, the most challenging is setting my pride aside because maybe you're not quite such a perfectionist as I am, Ranika, but I tend to, I like to think I can hit it out of the park in my first swing, you know, and it can be very humbling to get back something just full of edits, you know, full of questions or full of changes. But the truth is that those changes always make the work better. And I always learn every time I interact with anyone on our team. I always learn so much, and the work is better for it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I send you things, Kate, and then I'm like, this don't look anything like I sent you, but it's better, way, but it's so much better than what I sent it.
That's how it is for me too. That's exactly how it is. It's a team. It's a new thing to create as a team for sure, but it's
Yeah,
so rewarding. And then
it,
I have to say that what's most rewarding for me is getting to create so much content that draws from the gallery. So
mm,
I highly encourage you to browse the gallery. The artists have such incredible stories. Ranika, there are artists who have created their art through cancer treatment, through loss of a parent or loss of a child, through political turmoil, through time living in refugee camps. People are wrestling with doubt and belief right in their art. And it is such a privilege to read these stories and,
yeah.
you know, pull them out to share with everyone.
Yeah. And they really touch us. And I think that was one of the things just working behind the scenes that maybe caught me off guard in terms of some of the previous contests. It's just how much my heart connected with the
Mm.
artwork in many instances. So yeah, definitely. What has been most rewarding? And maybe you've already stated it. What's been most rewarding about creating content and doing this role?
Well, definitely reading the gallery stories and just engaging with the art on such a profound level. I also feel really lucky to, we say engage culture, engage scripture, and engage art. And I really feel like I can see myself growing as I am in that space, with
Yeah.
engage art. It's just such a kind team. It's such a beautiful vision. The artwork is also inspiring.
Yeah. And then in terms of you creating, helping with content, being our content manager, all the content that's coming out in terms of for our tribe that we think over so much and that we're so intentional about, what would be some of the areas you think you would really want to our tribe to draw their attention to when it comes to our content that would be beneficial to them?
Yeah, well, you can't go wrong because all of it is great, but I
Mhm.
especially would love to plug our app
Yes.
with you guys. So the app is really full of rich, encouraging content, and I spend time in it. I get to read all the posts and write some of them, but we have these 5 different categories for reflection and encouragement: prayer, spiritual battle, tribe, which is spotlighting different artists in our community around the world, level up, contest. Part of my job is to put up these posts every week, and they include scripture, original artwork, reflection questions, food for thought. I'm a bit of an activist, so the spiritual battle track honestly really speaks my language a bit and helps me get in the right headspace for my day. But yeah, I would say that if you are looking for a place to connect, if you wanted to build a rhythm of opening your app and reflecting on a post while you pour your coffee, that might be a nice way to start your day.
Yeah, I love that. We have content that's coming out every week, and
That's right.
really, really pouring out content and being intentional about that content. I feel like I've learned so much even just in this short time with you, Kate. Do you have any last words, anything that you would want to mention at all to our tribe or just in general?
I'm just really struck by how much creativity there is out there in the world, how unique the vision and the gift is that he's given each person who creates, and how much we can grow closer to God by engaging with creativity in our lives and in the world around us. So I really hope that you do take time today to engage culture, scripture, and art.
Yeah. Thank you, Kaden. I just need to say that it has been a pleasure getting to work with you. Hands down, just getting to know you professionally and what you're doing. And I think earlier we kind of alluded to iron sharpening iron. I just really appreciate what you're doing, your heart in the work that you do, and getting to know you a little bit more personally as well. Thank you for what you do here at Engage Art. Thank you.
Oh, very much likewise. I'm so honored to work with you, Anika. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kate. Kate, you're amazing. And I want everyone to make sure you pay attention to all the content that is coming out. Kate already talked about the Engage Art app, which is available for iPhone and Android users. So make sure you download the app today if you have not. We've also already talked about, that the Engage Art contest is open. So make sure you go to engageart.org and spread the word. Please, guys, make sure you like us on Facebook. If you've already liked us, spread the word. Tell 2, 3, 4 more people about our Facebook page, and make sure you go like us. We also have great content coming through our social media. And then, last but not least, our Bible cluster that we do monthly is September the 28th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can join that. And this month, what we're asking people to do is not only for you to come and join the call, but why don't you bring along 2 other people with you that you can tell them about this Bible cluster. You can find that information in our Facebook group. And make sure, guys, you take some time today to engage culture, engage scripture, and engage art. Bye. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you.